Behold, a broken man sits before you. A broken man who subjected himself to something no one should be subjected to. As requested by movie club member Old Curly Jaws over on my Patreon, here is my review of the 2005 remake of The Fog. The island town of Antonio Bay harbors a dark Wait! Why am I doing a plot synopsis for this movie? It's The Fog. A lot has been said about the 2005 remake of The Fog, and none of it has been positive. This is one of the few remakes of the early 2000s that I absolutely refuse to watch. I'd heard nothing but bad things about it. Life is too short, and there are so many good movies out there I would rather invest my time in watching. Then old Curly Jaws comes along. I suppose it was inevitable. After all, the 2005 Fog remake has been called, by many, the worst remake ever. So eventually, I knew I'd have to see it for myself. But still. And right off the bat, when that Fall Out Boy song kicked in, I knew. John Carpenter's The Fog from 1980 is an expertly crafted, immensely atmospheric ghost story with a stellar cast and a cold, creeping sense of dread. The Fog 2005 has the awesome ensemble cast, the incredible atmosphere, that sense of dread is all gone here, replaced by polished production design, shallow characters, and cringe-inducing dialogue. And it all comes wrapped inside this inoffensive little PG-13 package. The characters here make cardboard look like Teflon. Tom Welling is no Tom Atkins. Selma Blair is a good actress, but she has very little to work with as Stevie Wayne. And what they do to Father Karras should be a jailable offense. Instead, we're given a comedic relief character in the form of Spooner. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've watched John Carpenter's The Fog and thought to myself, you know what this movie could really use? Comic relief. Because that's never happened. You know the scene in the original Fog where the drunken fishermen first encounter Blake and his ghostly crew? Or what about the scene where one of those now very dead crew members comes back to life and creeps up behind Jamie Lee Curtis with a scalpel? Both those sequences are reimagined here, and it's almost as if they went out of their way to reimagine them as poorly as they possibly could, with forced humor and by forcefully removing any semblance of suspense. Even when the Fog remake veers away from the source material and tries to make the story its own, it's jaw-droppingly inept. For instance, the flashbacks revealing the town's founding fathers setting up Blake and crew are totally unnecessary. Their only purpose is to justify another awful new twist to the story. The character of Elizabeth, played by Jamie Lee Curtis in John Carpenter's original, played by Maggie Grace here, isn't just a random hitcher who picked a really bad night to be passing through town. She's the prodigal daughter here. Her and Tom have a history, and her return to Antonio Bay coinciding with the fog rolling in is no coincidence. This new angle adds absolutely nothing to the story, but I'll give screenwriter Cooper Lang at least some credit for trying to make his mark. Unfortunately, it's a skid mark. The final act of The Fog 2005 is a vomitous symphony of bad CGI, bloodless deaths, zero tension, and what was with that ending? What were they thinking? But on top of it all, at the peak of this Mount Everest of awful, the injury to the insult of subjecting yourself to this movie. It is so boring. Pretend Carpenter's film never happened, and this was an entirely original IP. It's still unconscionably bad. And I've not even mentioned the bad CGI fog or the bad CGI ghosts or the fact that the ghosts aren't remotely scary or intimidating and the kills are all either off screen or completely neutered. So is the Fog remake the worst remake of all time? It's certainly one of the most heartless, soulless, unnecessary, and unrelentingly bland remakes that I've ever seen. I was actually going to pull a Gene Siskel here and call out every person responsible for this travesty. But I'm too drunk now, and I take solace in knowing that one day they will have to answer for their sins. So there you go, old Curly Jaws. I know you love this movie, and you can have it. But thank you for your review request, and thank you for being a patron. I appreciate your support. If you know of a really terrible movie that you want to subject me to for your own viewing pleasure, then you're a sadist. But all are welcome on my Patreon. So follow the link in the description or head over to patreon.com/pizowell and become a patron today. Let me know your thoughts on the 2005 Fog remake down in the comments section below. If you've not seen this film, you're one of the lucky ones. I used to be a member of that club, but thanks to old Curly Jaws. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. Thank you for watching. Take care. And until next time, peace. Now I'm going to go puke. Thank you to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and have a say in what content appears on my channel. Join me for monthly live streams and much more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.